Snake Boy Iguro about to make the ultimate sacrifice, and Muzan has teeth for days looking like nightmare fuel straight out of Resident Evil. You seeing this? So this week's chapter opens up with the onslaught continuing as Inosuke and Zenitsu lead the charge as Tanjiro finds his feet. Goutoge indulging us with Breath of Beast and Breath of Thunder attacks, adding to Muzan's accumulative damage as they trade blows. Not to say that Zenitsu and Inosuke aren't taking their fair share of licks every time they go in for a slice. They never seem to come away unscathed. But then that's Demon Slayer life. Tanjiro's back on his feet and he's launching spinning Breath of Sun attacks like a goddamn Beyblade. Though it seems every time he presses onwards, he's either taking subsequent damage from Muzan or coughing up blood from sheer fatigue. And I'm thinking, if one of you nerds were to go back every chapter in his arc, make a volumetric estimate for the amount of blood lost by Tanjiro, the amount he's been drained of should have resulted in him being completely anemic or having a stroke right about now. What's more, where Demon Slayer breathing techniques are dependent on blood as a vehicle to deliver heightened amount of oxygen to their muscles for incredible muscular performance, it goes without saying, if they're losing blood to such a degree, how can they even maintain total concentration breathing techniques? But I digress. The three amigos are putting in work, with Zenitsu drawing power from fond memories of his old man, teacher, grandfather, and Tanjiro having the covering fire he needs to go ham. Carrying on from previous chapters, Tanjiro is making use of piercing attacks for the highest success rate of destroying Muzan's hearts and brains. And Muzan finding himself between a rock and a hard place as he is skewered against a building. However, this could very well be part of Muzan's rope-a-dope strategy, as with a turn of perspective, perhaps it's Tanjiro the one that's caught. Having his blade embedded and stuck all the while within range of Muzan's limbs and piercers is quite the predicament to be in. Quite the predicament. But Mitsuri Kanroji is up and isn't about to let Muzan have his way, in which follows one of the best panels of the fight so far. To preface this, remember, Kanroji is an absolute freak, born with an insane muscle density around 8 times that of a normal person. And where she was taken out the fight with Muzan because of her lack of speed and inability to dodge his attacks, now that he's poisoned to shit, the playing field has been leveled and it's time for a little revenge. Okay, so this panel has Kanroji place her centre of gravity in front of Muzan's arm, wrapping it around her waist, and she simply pulls, literally snapping it from the joint and severing it clean off. Muzan's face is priceless in an expression of, wait, what? Muzan looks to counterattack, meanwhile Tanjiro's still stuck in place, helpless in a downright awkward extended face-to-face encounter and is unable to support Kanroji. But Tsunemi is. And he unleashes one of the most devastating sword attacks we've seen land on Muzan to date. A vertical slash from the top of Muzan's skull to the base of his neck. Brutal. I've been binging the Berserk manga over the last couple of days, so I'm a little desensitized to head cleaving, but this is still pretty metal all the same. Now, I can only assume Tsunemi's blade wasn't reddened for this attack, as almost instantly Muzan had recovered and manipulated his face on a cellular level to form this gaping monster maw. All the better to eat you with. And with Tanjiro in his line of sight, it ain't looking so good. Cue Operation Meat Shield as Iguro takes the bullet for Tanjiro. He wishes it was a bullet. And Iguro proceeds to seemingly have his entire head crunched and munched, while a horrified Tanjiro is spitting distance just over his shoulder, watching. How's that for PTSD inducing? The closing panel scans over the battlefield and to the distance overlooking the horizon. And what's that I spy from the shading? Is that dawn? Okay, predictions for next week's chapter. Iguro dead. Tsunemi, still in range of Muzan, gets pushed back. Kanroji also gets pushed back and Himejima reappears and lands a devastating attack. The first glimmers of sunlight will hit the ground and Muzan will retreat to the shadows or inside a building. And the fight will continue for at least another 2 chapters. Let me know what you reckon, if you think this is how it will play out, or if you think Tengen, Izui or Urokodaki will jump in for a pincer attack or some crazy shenanigans like that. Maybe Tanjiro will keep Muzan pinned against the wall and the Dawn's Light will blast him to death. That'd be a pretty lame way to finish it though, am I right? This was Anime Fried Chicken, thanks for watching. Subscribe and catch me covering Demon Slayer and Black Clover weekly and anime discussion videos throughout the week. I read all the comments, so hit me up and catch me next time. Cheers.